Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the July 10th caucus meeting for the city of Brook Park. Michelle, please call the roll.
Scott,
Here.
Bergia, Orcutt,
Here.
Stem,
Here.
Mancini,
Here.
Poindexter,
Here.
Salvatore.
Here.
Everyone, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moving to item number 3, under discussion. We have one item, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Best Equipment Company for the lease or purchase of one new 2019 Mack chassis with a 32-yard leach rear loader body and declaring an emergency, introduced by Mayor Gamella.
Council, this is for a new garbage truck. We have to have it's time sensitive. We have to have it in. It'll probably take about a year to build. And so if our service director has any other comment?
Mr. Garner.
I would say that it's imperative to get this truck. After the past 2 months of bulk Monday and carryover on Tuesday, trucks in and out of the shop all day long, we really need to get a piece of equipment that can run all day, so I appreciate it.
Mr. Mancini.
Thank you. Sorry. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through the chair to our service director, Randy. Randy, I know we came in today again for bulk Monday because it was so bad out there. They had a breakdown on a truck. I stand corrected, yesterday?
Yes, sir. I had one truck down at a little after 8 o'clock, and it was out of service the rest of the day. As a matter of fact, it just became available this afternoon. 2 other trucks were intermittently in and out all day from the shop. One has electrical problems. The other is the gearbox on the handle control, Jim.
They had been 548, I believe,
Yes,
from what
sir.
I heard. Yeah, you're
That is
absolutely right. You're absolutely right, Mr. Director. And, I think that truck's got some age on it, too. We don't want to get into it. But, I know we've just discussed this and actually through the budget process on these rubbish trucks. And, it's bulk Mondays, now it's supposed to be the time theoretically when things get a little lighter, but obviously they haven't because people are putting out big stops. You've seen them if you drove in Park on Sunday or Monday. So if I could, one more through the chair to our finance director, Mr. Single. Greg, just for records, where would this be coming out of the budget? What are we looking at here on this?
Through the chair to Councilman Mancini, the vehicle will be leased. It'll be leased to purchase, or we will purchase it at the end of the lease, and it'll come out of capital, the sanitation fund 423. But if I may, Mr. Chairman, after I reviewed this, it is competitively bid, it is advertised, and it was awarded by NJPA, but NJPA has changed names. They are now Sourcewell, Sourcewell. So you may want to change that within the body of the ordinance. And I think Carol may have another comment or two on this, but all the pricing is good. I talked to a gentleman named Skip Berg. He's with Labrie. Had him look at the proposal, and the pricing is correct. The only thing on the proposal is it's dated through July 1st, valid through July 1st. But he looked at it and he didn't comment whether or not the proposal expired. He looked at the pricing and said the pricing was accurate as quoted.
Thank you. Madam Law Director.
Thank you, through the chair to Council. Mr. Single and I did have an opportunity to discuss this afternoon, and it probably would be best if we amended the second whereas clause. I would recommend that where it says National Joint Powers Alliance and then parentheses NJPA, we insert in there now known as Sourcewell, and towards the end of the paragraph, add in where it says for its member agencies, add in and which has competitively advertised, bid and awarded for this equipment, or something for that nature. I'll defer to Mr. Single if he has any thoughts as to what would be a good amendment.
Very good.
Maybe something to the effect that Sourcewell advertised, competitively bid, and awarded a contract for the purchase of this equipment.
So that language could also be picked up where it says and we could say Sourcewell has competitively advertised, bid, and awarded for the equipment, and that would be fine. I don't think we were aware of the name change until recently, and it's probably good that through due diligence, service, and finance discovered it.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Mr. Stump?
Thank you, Council President. Through the chair to the Finance Director. Under Section 2, is this going to be paid through two cost centers, 401 and 423? And if so, do we know the breakdown between the two?
Through the chair, Councilman Stem, it'll be paid out of the capital fund, Fund 401, and the department is sanitation, 423 is that department number. So it'll be 401, 423, 55201 for equipment.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Salvatore?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through the chair to the law director and/or the finance director. Which one of the whereas, which companies actually changed names? Is it the second whereas or the third whereas?
That would be the second whereas.
So
So
this-
the name change is from NJPA, or National Joint Powers Alliance, to Sourcewell.
What was it changed to?
Sourcewell,
When did that change take place?
I think it was recently, I'm not sure the exact date,
But it's basically the same company with a name change?
exact same company with a name change.
So you think it would be, and our original involvement was with the previous name, correct?
Correct.
Bidding and so wouldn't it be safer on our part to leave that name in there and just add now doing business as?
I think that would be the safer way to go, just add in now known as or now doing business as Sourcewell.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I have one question real quick. Mr. Garner, can you explain for the residents, so everyone knows, this is the older units that we used to use, not the new, this is like those, not like the new automated trucks. This is the rear loaders that the men manually throw into, correct?
Yes, Council President. This is a rear-loading rubbish truck, not an automated truck. This would be the newest of a fleet of 32-year-old vehicles. 86s, I believe, are the two oldest, well beyond their life expectancy. I think 7 to 10 years, those trucks should have been retired. The breakdowns we've had last month was the pusher blade. It certainly just wore out to no end. They rebuilt parts, put it back together, and it functioned very well this week. 47 was one of our newer vehicles, and it had a major hydraulic leak, and the hoses were just not available in one day. So there again, the older trucks did pretty well. 48's an older truck. It was in and out the gearbox, something that you never replace, something that it's just not a replaceable item, and it just wore out. And I'm not sure if we're going to scrounge up enough parts. When my mechanic gets back Monday, he'll start researching that.
Great, thank you. Mr. Scott, you had something?
Yeah, on a third whereas, do we need to change some abbreviations? NJPAs, the two NJPAs, are those needed to be changed too, or just leave them?
Through the chair to Mr. Scott, we probably would just, again, add in there now doing business as Sourcewell.
Okay.
Mr. Orcutt?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Through the chair to our service director, Mr. Garner, how many trucks do we have right now in our fleet with the rear loaders? Is it 4,
6.
6? And one of them, we did buy a new rear loader for that this year?
No, we have not bought a new truck or a new body.
I thought we had purchased a new rear loader. We had approved that at the budget time for $45,000.
It was approved. It's just now going through
Okay,
legislation so that can be ordered. It's a year away.
okay,
Yes.
okay. Okay, perfect. That's all I had. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mr. Salvatore?
I just one final question, to follow up on the timeframe. Is this gonna take a year to have this one ready too, as well?
This truck is on paper scheduled 11 months to a year. Yes, sir.
What is your game plan in the interim?
Try to make do with what we have.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, gentlemen, I'll entertain a motion to amend the whereases.
Motion so made.
Support.
All right, so motion to amend both whereases to include the language from both the finance director and the law director. Properly supported. Discussion on the motion?
What are the amendments, Mr. Chairman? I gotta read them?
Yeah. Amendment is in the second whereas, following parentheses NJPA, now known as Sourcewell, which additionally will be added, which is competitively advertised and bid. In the third whereas, after the 4 initials NJPA, it will now read, now doing business as Sourcewell.
Perfect, thank you.
Discussion? No?
No.
Mr. Mancini?
I
I see you.
I kind of, but I'll let it go. It's
Okay.
okay.
Michelle, please call the roll.
Mancini,
Yes.
Stem,
Yes.
Poindexter,
Yes.
Salvatore,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Bergio,
Yes.
Orcutt.
Yes.
Motion to amend as read is approved.
Agenda.
I'm sorry?
Put it on tonight's agenda.
That's the council's pleasure.
I'll make that motion. I think we can put it on tonight's agenda for tonight for
Support.
council on our meeting tonight on July 10th.
Support.
Motion to place on tonight's council agenda.
Yeah.
Properly supported. Discussion? Seeing none. Michelle, please call the roll.
Mancini,
Yes.
Stem,
Yes.
Poindexter,
Yes.
Salvatore,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Bergio,
Yes.
Orcutt.
Yes.
29, 2018.
All right, motion has been approved. That will be under letter M of tonight's council meeting. 11,029-2018 will be the ordinance number. Seeing no other items,
Motion to adjourn.
Support?
Support.
motion to adjourn, properly supported. Discussion? Seeing none. Michelle, please call the roll.
Mancini,
Yes.
Poindexter,
Yes.
Salvatore,
Yes.
Stem,
Yes.
Orcutt,
Yes.
Bergio,
Yes.
Scott.
Yes.
Motion is approved. The caucus meeting is adjourned. Council, take your seats, please.
Okay. Chair told me that earlier.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the regular council meeting for the City of Brook Park for Tuesday, July 10th, 2018. Michelle, please call the roll.
Scott,
Here.
Bergio,
Here.
Orcutt,
Here.
Stem,
Here.
Mancini,
Here.
Poindexter,
Here.
Salvatore.
Here.
Everyone, please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and
To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moving to item C, approval of minutes of preceding meetings. We do not have any this evening. Item D, reports of standing committees, aviation and environmental. Mr. Poindexter.
Thank you, Council President. Before I get my report, I was yet again requested by Mr. Barron, and I would like to, at this time, make a motion to have a moment of silence for the Barron family in remembrance of their son, Michael, who was tragically killed in a motorcycle accident.
I'll support.
Motion on the floor to take a moment of silence. Properly supported. Discussion. Seeing none, Michelle, please call the roll.
Poindexter,
Yes.
Mancini,
Yes.
Stem,
Yes.
Salvatore,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Bergio,
Yes.
Orcutt.
Yes.
Motion was approved. If everyone would, please take a moment and reflect on the loss of the young life of Michael Barron. Thank you. Take a motion to go back to the regular order of business.
Motion so made.
Support.
Motion to go back to the regular order of business, properly supported. Michelle, please call the roll.
Mancini,
Yes.
Poindexter,
Yes.
Salvatore,
Yes.
Stem,
Yes.
Orcutt,
Yes.
Bergio,
Yes.
Scott.
Yes.
Motion is approved. We're back under letter D. Report from Aviation and Environmental. Mr. Poindexter.
Thank you, Council President, and thank you, Council, for recognizing that moment. The Aviation and Environmental Report, I received a report for the solid waste reporting for the past year, 2017. In 2017, we landfilled solid waste, 8,840 tons of solid waste into our landfills. We recycled about 1,300 tons, and we had about 414 tons of organics. Our total recycling rate for 2017 was 16.31%, and we were down from 2016, where in 2016 we had 17.54%. Looking at these numbers, I see that we're not recycling as much as we used to, and I'd like to, as the chairman of the environmental committee, I would like to encourage all our city officials and our residents, myself included, to make a more conscious effort to recycle more. That number I'd like to see that number going up and not down. So, I'm guilty of throwing plastic bottles in the garbage, and my pop cans, sometimes I'll throw them in the garbage instead of in the recycling, and I'm going to vow to make a more conscious effort to recycle more, and I would ask every one of you to also do the same. And thank you, and that's the end of my report.
Thank you, Mr. Poindexter. Moving on to the Finance Committee. Councilman Scott.
Thank you, Mr. President. Finance Committee has one item on tonight's agenda for third reading. And also, the Board of Controls met today, and there were 27 items that were approved. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. Move on to the Legislative Committee. Councilman Mancini.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First off, we got a nice crowd tonight for middle of summer here and July 10th, between 4th of July and home days. Nice to see everyone here, but we'll have one ordinance on third reading tonight, and let's recycle. Thank you, that's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman. Moving on to Parks and Recreation Committee, Councilman Salvatore.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At our last meeting of Recreation, it was reported that the men and women's locker room, including the whirlpool, steam room, and the sauna, were officially open as of the 19th of June. And as you all know, the water park officially opened on June 4th. Our community room kitchen has recently been painted with new lighting, new cabinets, and a new floor installed. We're still waiting on the stove, refrigerator, and a microwave, but the director assures me that'll be forthcoming very shortly. Snack bar and concession area has a new bar and counters, and they added electrical for the vending relocation and removed some of the old coolers. And the bocce ball courts were resurfaced on the 15th of June. And our baseball, softball programs are now winding down. The seasons are coming to an end, but the tournaments will be starting this week. So if you get a chance, make sure you get out there and support some of our teams. The first of 3 outdoor movies at the water park started on June 22nd, and it was sponsored by Crossroads Church, and there'll be 2 more following. Boxing upgrades will include a new heavy bag and a new speed bag, and I heard that Councilman Vecchio and Poindexter, I guess you guys reserved some time on there for next Tuesday to get in shape. I don't know if that's true or not, but I heard that that might be coming. The American Red Cross will hold a blood bank drive at the rec center on Saturday, July 21st, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And of course, you all are aware that our home days is starting on Friday. Midway opens at 5 o'clock. There's plenty of events planned for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, with Sunday ending up with the outstanding fireworks. The Brook Park has been very, very fortunate in displaying some fabulous fireworks, and that'll be at 10 o'clock on Sunday night. And one other item, I did have the distinct pleasure of attending the graduation for Safety Town. And every year I say it can't get any better, and I go to the next one and it's got better. So they had a tremendous turnout. It was well attended, and it was well put together. And Officer Kaz did a wonderful job, and the mayor and everybody else from the staff did a beautiful job as well. So I think I can remember the first one I attended. I think we didn't have little cars, we had horses, I think. But I think I was riding one of them. But anyhow, you guys did a great job, Mayor, and make sure you let everybody know that it went very well, in my opinion. Other than that, Mr. Chairman, that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Salvatore. Planning Committee, Councilman Bergeron.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At yesterday's Planning Commission meeting, we only had one item that came before us. It was a request for aesthetic approval for the parking lot addition and alterations at 17400 Holland Road, and it was approved unanimously, and that's all I had to report.
Thank you, Mr. Bergio. Safety Committee, Councilman Stem.
Thank you, Council President. 2 announcements under the same topic. Safety Town sessions, the next session is July 16th through the 20th, 11:30 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon. The second one is August 6th through August 10th, 8 o'clock in the morning until noon. You could register at the rec center, and there's a cost of $10. Thank you. That's all. End of my report.
Thank you, Councilman Stem. Service Committee, Councilman Orcutt.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I have nothing to report, but I just have one comment. I just wanted to thank the ladies and gentlemen that work in the service department, obviously with bulk pickup and with home days coming up. They've been working extremely hard for us in the city. So if you see them out there at the home days, make sure you maybe buy them a pop or something. That's all I had, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Orcutt. Board of Zoning Appeals, Councilman Scott.
Thank you, Mr. President. Board of Zoning was, they did not have a meeting on Monday. It was canceled. If I may, just one other item. Just let you know, everybody know the Little Free Pantry is up, running. It's been very well received. It's been used. We've had it ran low a couple days. We filled it back up again. And please let anybody know that needs it. 24/7, it's open, unlocked. You don't have to check in. You don't have to do anything. Just the motto is take what you need and leave what you can. Just let everybody know the Little Free Pantry is up, running, and it is doing exceptional. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. Moving on to letter E, reports of special committees. Southwest General Health Center, trustee Mr. Salvatore.
Thanks again, Mr. Chairman. The board met on June 27th, and it was announced that Southwest General has once again been named the Plain Dealer's top workplace, one of the top workplaces. This is for the second consecutive year. We ranked 5th in large employer categories. And of course, we're very proud to have been recognized for the 9th straight year in a row. We continue to improve in patient care. We are ahead of last year in 8 of the 12 categories. And we're better than target in quality and safety measures and are currently achieving all of our goals thus far this year. The Department of Health survey of hospice completed a survey at Southwest General with no citations, with the conclusion that it was a very successful survey. A bit of information coming out of Southwest. We received a grant for up to $40,000 to replace one of our community vans from Nowaka. The vans are used for the transportation of residents in our primary care who are unable to provide their own transportation to and from Southwest. And under the financial portion of our meeting, we approved the purchase of the replacement of the patient monitors. The request for expenditure came in under budget, and it passed unanimously. And finally, Mr. Chairman, members of council, the Southwest will be in our Home Days Parade on the 15th, kicking off at Brook Gate at 1 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Salvatore. Berea Board of Education Committee, Ms. McDonald is not here tonight. Mr. Poindexter has a report.
Thank you, Council President. Some exciting news. Groundbreaking for the elementary school will be Wednesday, August 1st at 8 a.m. over at the site of the new school. It hasn't been named yet, so I can't give the name. Also, groundbreaking for the high school will be on Thursday, August 2nd at 7:30 a.m. at the high school grounds. Orientation dates and times, as well as start of school dates and times, are on the website, berea.k12.ohio.us. The bus for the Stuff the Bus drive will be at Home Days on Friday the 13th from 5 to 9 p.m., on Saturday the 14th from noon to 6 p.m., and Sunday from 2 to 4 p.m. Items found on the school supply list can be donated. All donations go to students of the Berea City School District. And that's it for my report.
Thank you, Mr. Poindexter. Moving on to letter F, reports of boards and commissions. We currently do not have any. Letter G, introduction of resolutions of commendation. We do not have any there either. Letter H, reports and communications from the mayor. Mayor Gamella.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, I'd like to address an article that was in the Sun newspaper pertaining to ordinance number 11028, 2018, which is a sale of 3.3 acres on Brook Park Road. An individual on there said he had to obtain, through a public records request, the appraisal value at $610,000. That information was made available many months ago by our Economic Development Director. The $610,000 appraisal is for an adult business. $610,000 for an adult business. We certainly didn't want that there. As a matter of fact, on that property at one time, 3 adult businesses stood there. That's why the city bought it. The appraisal for the type of business going in there is $390,000, and we're getting over $400,000. We'll probably clear a little less than that with closing costs, but again, we're getting right there at appraised value for the property. The question was asked in the article, who does this benefit? Well, I'll tell you who it benefits. It benefits the residents of Brook Park. Because many years ago, when he had 3 adult businesses sitting on that 3.3 acres, this council acted, and they paid a good amount of money for that, $1.1 million, but there were 3 businesses on there, and we had to clean up Brook Park Road, and we did that, and we're going to continue to do that. And this project going there, this trucking company, is going right next door to an adult bookstore and a strip club. These people are taking a chance locating there. That property sat vacant for 17 years. There's a reason for that. Nobody wants to locate next to those sort of businesses, but these gentlemen are taking a chance, and I applaud them, and they're helping us clean up Brook Park Road. So again, as far as the public records request, that information was always out there. I think all members of council understand that, and it's time that we move ahead on this project. and I strongly recommend that council pass this ordinance tonight on third reading. With that, we have home days coming up this weekend, and the parade will start at 1 o'clock on Sunday. Also, as Councilman Salvatore said, the Midway opens up at 5 o'clock on Friday. The fireworks are 10 o'clock on Sunday. So it'll be a great time, and I hope everyone got the newsletter where it explained all that and laid it out and all the various events we have and things of that nature. So I'd like to thank all the council members who contributed to that newsletter and the law director and finance director and so on. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And as far as the recreation center, we are continuing to look at the situation with the pool. We would like to get the pool opened up, but as was stated in newsletters, there's some issues with the recreation center that we have to address that we really didn't know about earlier when that 5.2 million was put in there. But we are going to address it, and we are going to make it right. So with that, my goal as mayor, we have a lot of assets in this community, and we're going to utilize those assets to their maximum potential. We're a city on the move, and I want to make you proud to live here, and so is this council. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mayor. Council questions for the mayor? Mr. Mancini.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for recognizing me. Mayor Coyne, who's in attendance tonight, always says on the mayor's comments to me, he used to say, well, where's the question in it? So I'm going to have a question here in about 30 seconds. But being out in a community as I am, and obviously we all will this weekend at the home days, and we're going to hear a lot of things, and hopefully it's all positive, and hopefully we do, Mayor, we do start moving ahead. On that, you know, I hear a lot of good, a lot of bad, and a good example is you look at Ford over there at a junior high. Now, some people are going to tell you they're going slow, and some will tell you they're just tearing that place apart. I think that's kind of funny, but I think they're doing a good job, and it's good to see progression like that in the heart of our city. The other thing, you know, some people would ask me, the newsletter. They heard a lot of good things about the newsletter. Some had other thoughts. I hope they're calling if they want more information or there was other things we didn't put in there. Hopefully they're calling City Hall and say, maybe next newsletter, put this in there. I've heard people say we should have our fireworks on the 4th, like everybody else. I've heard that. So I've heard a lot of things. But and obviously, and I know my colleagues hear a lot of it too, the streets and the speeding are the big things. And I know we're in the middle of summer. I know the kids are out, and a lot of people are driving, a lot of people on bikes. So it's maybe things we have to keep a good eye on. And the streets, there's still, the guys at the service garage, and I will tell Mr. Gardner on that report that he's going to give, have done a tremendous job. On that being, I had a couple situations yesterday, and I think 2 on Sunday with the animal shelter. And I think they do a great job over there. But I just think a little bit, Dispatcher Pinter did a great job. I want to give her props over at the police department. But there was a couple situations where I think just a little lack of communication, I think could just be a little better. By no means am I throwing anyone under the bus. Them guys do it. It's not easy going to chase a raccoon or something, a wild dog coming at you or something. But they do a great job. The volunteers do a really good job over there. But I think there could be a little, with the people who are having that issue, a little better communication from the animal shelter to yesterday there was a dog. And they got to see their dog, but they didn't get to take their dog. So it's just something, and I'm sure you might have heard about it through the grapevine. And, just don't want to beat it up, but I just hope it could get a little better. Great job, but I hope we could get a little better. And I just want your thoughts on that animal shelter. That's all. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, I was just over at the animal shelter, as a matter of fact, last week with Councilman Orcutt and one of the volunteers going over some things. And there are some things we can make a little better, and we're going to make them a little better. As you know, I'm a big animal lover, and but the cages were clean, everything was clean, the animals are well taken care of. And there's a few little things we need to tweak, I agree with you, and we're going to get there.
Okay, thank you. I do too. I think they do a great job over there, volunteers again, and we all love our pets, but I just think that, on that line of communication could be a little better. People want, it's their pet. They want to know, or when they're coming, when they're going to be available. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mr. Salvatore.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through the chair to the mayor. Mayor, I know you mentioned in your report about the value of the land, and I think everybody in this room and everybody in the city knows where I stand, and I think, hopefully this will be over tonight, but as far as the value of the land goes, I really think it would be in the city's best interest if we would have the appraiser give us something in writing for the file to indicate the differential between the 610 and the 395, just so we'd have it for the record indicating why the differential appeared. Thank you.
We do have an appraisal in writing.
No, I'd like to know, just to get something from the appraiser, to explaining why the appraisal was done by the same appraiser, I believe. Is that correct? Or at least the
Yes.
same firm. So it should be a simple task.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, just to get something that protects the city to show that, yes, we did have an appraisal for 610, which we did. And yes, we do have one now for 395, but nowhere does it explain why there's a difference. And I think if we
Good
had that
catch,
in
Rick. We'll
writing-
do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Seeing no one else, we'll move on. To letter I, reports of communications from departments, commissions, and other public officials. We'll start with the finance director, Mr. Single.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Monthly reports for June have been distributed. As always, if there are any questions, please don't hesitate to give me a call. And that concludes my report this evening.
Thank you. Move over to the recreation director, Mr. Elliott.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just to report, obviously, this is a big week, Home Days. It's a great time for family, friends, and neighbors. There's a lot of different things for folks to be involved in, and we invite them to come down and have a great weekend with us. In addition, the Recreation Commission will meet on July 19th at 7 o'clock over at the Recreation Center. And other than that, that's all that I have.
Thank you, Mr. Elliott. Law Director, Ms. Sorbath.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At the next council meeting, I'll present council with the list of pending civil lawsuits. Other than that, the law department has been trying to organize and pack the documents and other items that we have in the law department in anticipation of the move of our office. It looks like it's a bigger task than I originally thought. We do have a lot of items, and we're looking at ways that we might be able to kind of cut down the size of what we have. And hopefully we'll be ready for that when the move comes. Other than that, I have nothing further to report.
Thank you, Madam Law Director. Move to Service Director, Mr. Gardner.
Good evening, council and residents. Service Department, busy working on home days this week and last week. We did some hot patch prior to that last week, about 22 tons worth. Still cutting about 15 vacant lots. Trimming and removing trees. Seeding as needed as we go. We're still maintaining 8 ball fields daily, and our bulk pickup netted just under 80 tons. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Garner. And last but not least, we'll get our engineer, Mr. Piatek.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just real quick, tree lawns over on Sylvia that were part of the construction project last year. That's between Fry and Smith. We seeded those this spring, and I know I've gotten some calls from some residents, and there's some weeds, and it's not. Some of them look good. Some of them don't look so good. I just want everybody to know that the contractor's aware, and they've committed to coming back and addressing the tree lawns as needed. Most likely that'll happen towards the end of the summer, or maybe into fall, when we have a little better growing season. So that's all I have this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Piatek. Questions, council? Mr. Mancini, go ahead.
Well, you hesitated coming to me there a little bit. I think you're going to go somewhere else, but put their hands up. Okay, I'm going to go around just a little bit, and I'll make it brief because I know some people want to get up and talk tonight and get out of here at a good time. First, I'd like to go to Randy, our service director. Randy, I want to, and I think Councilman Orcutt hit it right in the head there. I think the guys did a super job. I know they had to go in today on that bulk Monday, and I drove around Sunday, and I seen some big stops, and not one or two of them I seen a lot. I think the guys did a great job. I kind of drove around a little yesterday seeing what they did, and I also want to say that the guys that are down there on the weekends, and the guys that are down there, you supply when you can, down there when people drop off their yard waste and their rubbish, come out and do a fantastic job. I've been down there, I've seen that, and that's, You know, that's all the guys. When they come out, they're cordial, they help people, they help the elderly, and, you know, really, and I'm sure this is, I don't want to speak for all the council, but I think I will, they let them know they've done a great job, okay? I want to give that shout out. Could I hit two more, Mr. Chairman? Could I do that? Thank you.
As long as these are contained to questions, sir.
Okay, but what I did want to ask, could I get that quote, could I get that yard waste again on the bulk pickup, what we had total? Did you get a total from yesterday and today? I know, I think you said you went down to 5 trucks, right?
Yes, there was 80 ton, a little less than 80 tons. And that was not yard waste, Councilman.
It's a lot of weight. Thank you, Randy. Tell the guys a good job. If I could, to the Recreation Director. Mark, again, good job over there. I see a lot of old timers coming back, a lot of people coming back with the steam and sauna. I hear a lot on this project, how it's, you know, not this, not that. Well, I think there was a lot of pluses too. Again, I think the glass being half full, there's a lot of plus factors in it too. The 17 HVACs we put on that ceiling weren't cheap, and I think they kept that building going, and the roof. Have we had any problem with them since they've been put up with a roof at anything? Nothing? Okay, thank you. And good job with the staff over there. And one more, if I could. Ed, I know you know I'm coming at you, so you've been gone for a little bit. I hope that shoulder's better. But on them tree lawns on Sylvia, I want to thank you and the guys over there for getting them. I know you put it back into the residents, but how's that coming with the tree lawns?
Well, like I said, I think the tree lawns, you know, we'll be back in the fall to address those. I would just ask that the residents, you know, keep it maintained, keep it cut. It'll help keep, you know, the weeds that are in there, help keep them down. So I would just ask that the residents, you know, just maintain it as normal.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Mancini. Anyone else? Seeing no one else, we'll move on. Moving to letter J, other communications, petitions, and verbal approval, introduction of new legislation. We have 2 items. First item is an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract for the sale of property located at 15810 Harrison Drive, permanent parcel number 343-07-048, and declaring an emergency. I will assign this to the Finance Committee. And the second one is an ordinance amending section 101.08D of the Brook Park Codified Ordinances entitled Charges for Service Requests, Copies of City Records, and declaring an emergency. I will assign this to the Legislative Committee. Is it under letter J? Moving on to letter K, miscellaneous business appointments and confirmations. We do not have any. Move on to letter L, remarks from the audience on any subject matter. When you approach the podium, please state your name and address for the record.
Okay. Russell Barron, 6525 Fry Road, of course, beautiful Brook Park. All right. I had to modify my speech because, first off, to thank you for doing the moment of silence. Actually, I was going to ask to do it because I was also going to dedicate it for Brook Park, not Brook Park, but any officers and firemen that have passed away in Ohio in, say, 2018, also residents of Brook Park in 2018, which, let's see, get myself situated here. Okay. Yeah, I wanted to do that, but since we already did, and I appreciate that you've done that. Just some few things I want to cover. For my son, who lost his life back June 7th, it was kind of special for me to do that because he was going to start school this fall at Tri-C to go in the EMT fire program. He was going to leave automotive, and he was going to do like pizza delivery and work on cars on the side for the year and a half that he was going to be going to Tri-C. He loved helping people, so even strangers. He helped a woman with a flat tire the night before his death, so he would have fit right in being a civil servant, whether it had been here in Brook Park or anywhere. Let's see. So we already did the moment of silence, which I'd also, like I already said, I'd like to dedicate that to residents and firefighters and police that have passed on so far this year, and we've had a share of them. Okay. Your point of view would be now on, if someone would want to request this, either coming here in person or letting a council member know. That would be, I think it'd be a nice gesture, and you already did it, so if we could continue it for it, I think that'd be a nice thing. Okay. Next thing I want to do is have Mr. Poindexter, the Honorable Poindexter, come down here for a minute, if he can. Is he allowed?
Mr. Poindexter, go ahead.
Mr. Poindexter has been helping me. I don't know if I want to give the details, but he's helped me with a special project. Actually, it'd be something for my son. And he's given awesome condolences for my son for outstanding service to Councilman. Just a simple little plaque. Appreciation. Oops. I'm a little nervous. You made a difference. Let's see, I also want, thank you. Also want to thank many residents of Brook Park for their condolences, including neighbors, strangers, don't even know. Mayor Gamella, of course, Tony D'Amico, Jim Mancini, Scott Adams, and even people from around Ohio. It's been a sad but a bittersweet situation, and having people's support definitely makes a difference. Let's see if I have anything else. I think that pretty much covers it. Thank you, everyone, and God bless. Keep doing the hard work.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Thomas J. Coyne Jr., 23589 Woodhill Drive, retiree and a fixed income. I was here a few months ago indicating I would give my help to addressing the financial needs of the city of Brook Park, and that was sincere. And I didn't think I would be back here again because I thought over time that even those who want to deny the facts would accept reality. And the reality is the city lacks the resources to address its growing needs, and they're growing faster than the city has the capabilities to address them. And I figured that was that until somebody called upon me for help. And I got this newsletter over the weekend talking about the rec center project. It's not signed by anybody, but I assume it was put out by the mayor. And it's interesting. Some of the things in here are true. Others are not. And I think it's important that the citizens know the facts because it was a great campaign issue. It is evident even by the mayor's newsletter that it cost more than $200,000 to open the pool. To suggest that he was ignorant of the facts of what the problems were there is challenging the truth, to say the least. And it's even more than disingenuous. There were several meetings, there were articles in 411, there was preliminary analysis of what the problems were over at the rec center pool, and they were all in the excess of $3 million. Campaigns are what they are. People win and people lose. They believed in Mike Gamella, they didn't believe me. The facts bear out what I said was factual and true. And to continue to ignore those or blame other shortcomings for the problem is not going to get the problem solved. Here's the reality. Yes, you did inherit a project of $5.2 million for the rec center. The majority of that is in the roof and the HVAC of the building. If you look back at the record, I actually recommended that the building be demolished in 1998 and build a brand new building. This is important in this context that you understand the history. I didn't prevail in that. At that time, we could have built a brand new rec center, right-sized for us, with our pool, lazy river, the whole shooting match, indoor, outdoor, for right around $8 million. We renovated it for 6, built the junior gym, built the water park. The problem of the oversized pool and its issues with the roof were still there. The last major improvements put in that building were in 1998. I believe Mayor Elliott put a tin roof on top of the rubber roof that we had on there, and we've all been sold a bill of goods about that roof. And we put millions of dollars into that roof. And the problems got worse, and the vapor problems got worse in the building. I was gone for 12 years. 12 years. It's over a decade. Now, to suggest that that building didn't deteriorate in that decade defies common sense. 2 of the people that were responsible for that, 3 of them are sitting up here. 2 of them are your directors. Should I suggest that your service director and your now recreation director allowed for the deterioration of the building? It's idiotic. It happened. It was ill-constructed to begin with, and if you understand the land that it was built on, it contributes. It was Hank's Pond when we were kids. That may be the solution to where all the water is going for the water park that you may or may not know about. But to suggest that this administration came in and wasn't aware of the problems is just not true. Mayor Gamella decided not to have a transition. There was a report on his desk the first day he came in there with a report that analyzed all the problems in that pool building. And you all have it. It's around $3 million. You don't need another one. What are we doing about it? There's the report. How are you going to finance it? That's the issue. How are you going to do that and meet your other needs? So what I'm here to tell you, no, the pool wasn't part of it. You have to look at the time that we lived in at that point in time. This city was living on its reserves. Employees hadn't had pay increases, policemen and firemen, service workers in years. So what did we do? We took what we had and made decisions to close that pool because it wasn't functioning and it was draining. To suggest that the only reason we're saving money is because we combine these buildings into one doesn't tell the true story. The bills on the pool alone were $400,000 a year. It had to be closed or we couldn't sustain the building. So the decisions that I made as the mayor, people wanted the rec center open. I proposed a tax proposal to them to facilitate all of these things and more. They said no, 3-1. Live with what you have, make it work. And that's exactly what we did. Make no mistake about it, the only way that you could finance the limited things that we did, not a new kitchen, not a new senior center, have the rec open and functioning, was to make the decision that we made. And members of council know the opposition to that from the very same elements who are supporting this administration today. And I'm going to close when I talk about that. So that building, that portion of the building, you see what should be torn down. And at the campaign event that Mr. Gamella made his great fill the pool story, all right, ignoring what the facts were, he would have heard what I said. We have to have a larger discussion in this community about what we want and what we're going to pay for. And all the rhetoric and balderdash, I guess to quote the mayor, isn't going to do any good to resolve the problem and blaming others. It's a bad building, oversized for our needs, and we cannot afford it anymore. So those are decisions that have to be made. So my suggestion up here is this. We still have remnants of a poison in this town that has poisoned the voters that think that all the resources are here to do it. And they get up there and say, well, the federal government's going to give us more money. We need more money from them. Or the state. Get in the real world, man. They're sending everything right back here. They're decimating cities by taking aid away. They're decimating school systems by taking aid away. It's not going to happen. Scott Adams, I've known him, I think, since he's been a teenager. He could be the greatest economic development director in the world. There's no way he's going to produce. Look at Greg's analysis a few years back. We have to replace Ford. That's never going to happen. Look at those numbers. Look how much investment. Look how many jobs that have to be created to sustain the type of life we had in this town. And you know what's sad about the truth of this? An income tax increase for the infrastructure would not have to be paid by the majority of the people of the city. How sad is that? How sad is that? That we can't have the leadership to ignore the facts sitting right in their face. Go to the people, tell them the truth. All sides, both sides, uptown, downtown. Tell them the truth, or this city is not going to ever progress, no matter how much somebody can proclaim that it is. I hope not to come back here again except to speak on behalf of initiatives that'll move the city forward. But I'm not going to sit back anymore and allow these lies to continue and misrepresentation of the facts of the people of this city. They deserve better from all of you. And if the administration cannot do that, then council must do that. I'm contemplating putting a major investment in my home because I love the place I've been since I've been 9 years old. But I have to look and say, is my investment going to give my family a long-term return? Mr. Mayor, you go down Rupel Road every day. I saw Dennis Patton the other day. There are chuck holes in my street on Rupel Road, where you and I drive every day, that haven't even been filled with coal patch. Fill the damn holes in the road. Could you do that, please? You see it every day. It's been sitting there. And that's what's happening around the whole city. So again, I offer you my support to help anybody that seeks it. And I will not come up here unless and until there's an issue that needs to be addressed. We have problems in this city that are only going to be solved with more revenue and investment of our own people. And if our own people won't invest in this town, we're in dire shape. So I thank you for the opportunity. I hope the response is one that, why don't we talk about this? Why don't we do something about it? Because if I'm attacked again, I will respond again. I still got that Trump part of me that I kind of enjoy doing that a little bit. Not pugilistically, but orally. And I thank you for the opportunity.
Mayor Coyne, why don't you say? My name is Donna Calvi, 15400 Muskingum Boulevard. Mayor Coyne has addressed a lot of issues and talking about ignorance and truth-telling. And I would like to know how long Mr. Zwiebel taught at Ford Junior High School.
Ms. Calvi, could you please speak into the microphone?
I would like to know how long Mr. Zwiebel taught at Ford Junior High School, who Mr. Coyne is familiar with because he was mayor the first time around. How long? How many students did he have access to?
She has an issue.
That would be a question.
You have an issue with the schools.
That would be
No,
a question.
I
She's the
have.
principal of the school, so.
Ms.
Listen,
Calvi, Ms. Calvi,
Question,
Ms. Calvi,
ask the school guy.
Ms. Calvi, please. If you have an issue with the schools, that's something to take offline, and somebody can help you to get in touch with the schools.
Well, I was just wondering when Mayor Coyne was going to start that big investigation. He said he was going to start since I came forward.
That would be a question for Mr. Coyne.
So it never happened?
I have no idea what you're speaking about, but if we could stay to that, you could speak to Mr. Coyne off of this, or if one of us could help you, we could go down that route.
Mr. Chairman, the council can talk to the chief of police, and they had a thorough investigation.
Thank you. So if there's an issue there that needs to be handled with the police department, we can go through our safety chair, we can go through the mayor, but that's a place that this
I
needs to
have
go
two
with.
questions. The first question is, how did the school hiring teacher policy change once Mr. Zwiebel happened for
Well,
over a decade?
Again, that's something for the school, so if that's something that's city-related, we could help you with, but that's for the school district. There's nothing, we can't do anything about the school district. So that's a question to take to the school district, maybe attend a board meeting there.
So I'm wondering why it is that for 30 years, I couldn't get nobody to listen to me. That I had to actually go onto Facebook, and I had to pull people from Facebook who knew about Mr. Zwiebel because nobody in this community would address it, or all of the children.
Mrs. Calvi, again, you're bringing up a person that is from the school district. If it's about the city of Brook Park and business for the city of Brook Park, we can help you with that. But if it's with the school district, I've given you the option of where to go.
I've been there. They told me to come to you.
Unfortunately, if it's with the school district, we can't help you with that.
So what does that fall under, the blanket of immunity? The school and the city? Is that how it works?
It's a school district. It's a school district item. It's not a city of Brook Park council item. Now, if you have some council action, we can move forward with this. Or if you wouldn't mind, let's allow somebody else to come up if that's where we're at.
Sure, no problem. You have a nice day.
Thank you.
I don't need to talk to you.
Okay, well, Elizabeth Sayers. Have a nice night. Elizabeth Sayers, 23065 Cedar Point Road, Brook Park, Ohio. I want to come up and thank everybody for all the support you guys gave me because I'm leaving, actually really leaving. And I just want to thank everybody for helping me and supporting me and keeping my spirits up about doing the gazebo and all the stuff around the city hall and everything. So I just wanted to put some good news in here, and thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
Louis Modick, 14399 Fayette Boulevard, Brook Park, Ohio. Glad to hear the mayor's an animal lover. Want to give an update on dog park. Seems like a minute issue, everything going on now with the roads and everything else. But I'm glad to announce on behalf of the Brook Park Barkers, I did have a meeting with Rich Scott and Carl Borgio on the 11th. It was a very good meeting in my eyes and brought up some issues that we would need as a community group to help Brook Park fund a community-funded Brook Dog Park. One of the main issues that I thought was important, and they were getting in touch with Mr. Kringle and the law director, was to have a specific fund where people that would want to donate and put money in for the dog park would go to that fund, not any general fund, not any fund that could be reappropriated, I guess is the term, that it would be strictly for that. I have verbal commitments right now from a couple businesses, up to $500. I know it's a start. We talked about a figure about 10 to 12 grand over the next year and a half. That would be reasonable, just to have the basic dog park. And I don't know if they had a chance to take it any further yet, but I think when I talked to them, I think we were at 64 members. We are now over 100. So we're moving forward. There is still a plan, and I just want to thank you for having a meeting with on behalf of the Brook Park Barkers. Thank you.
All right.
Joan Markusik, 13911 Bellbrook. My God, this is a three-ring circus tonight. I want to thank the councilmen for all of their due diligence on the property investigation and selling and pricing and investigating the business that's going to be going in there. I have been for it. I kind of wavered a little, but I've talked to people, and I'm comfortable with the sale of the property. I think that it'll be good for Brook Park. I am still standing firm on sometimes you have to give to be able to take in the long run. And I want to thank all of you for everything that you do on that. I have a question because I watched the Saturday morning meeting, and I don't know how long this council is going to be here. I don't know how long our mayor will be here or anybody else. But my hope for our residents in this city, that you are true to what you say when you are up there, that even if you do not get reelected, that you have the grace and courtesy and respect for the residents of the city of Brook Park when you see something being addressed by council and you happen to notice something that might be questionable, that you would have the respect of our residents, the current council, and yourself to make the council aware of that before it gets to a point where it could be a problem. you are elected by our residents. And whether or not you are on council at the current time, if you have been a council member or any representative of our city, you have the responsibility to obtain that position, whether you are currently in that position or not, because you've held that position. You have let the public know that you respect and are looking out for our city. And I was a little disheartened to watch the Saturday morning meeting, and I was amazed that a past council person would actually come in front of you and say something about your proposal. It made our law director have to do research. It made the council have to go and rethink what they were doing and how they were writing the sale of this property. And I felt let down by someone that represented myself and other residents. I feel that you, whether you are currently elected or not, if you were once elected to that position or you ran for that position, you're putting yourself out in the public eye. And residents should feel that you're looking out for them, whether you are or are not currently on the current council or holding your current position in our city. And that is a responsibility. If you're going to put yourself there, live up to that. And just because you're not a face that's on every Tuesday or every special meeting, or you're not going door to door, or people may not be calling you because you are not the current council person, or you're not currently a city representative, that does not mean that you get to sit back and wait to pounce on the people who are currently in the position. Our city needs to be a little more together. We're all in this together. We're all residents. And it's time for the games to stop. It's not a head game thing, and it's not who is or isn't in control. It's our city is at a point where our residents need to step up, stand up, and we need to get this city up and going. We're moving forward. You're trying to move forward, but you have people who are constantly wanting to be the main name on everything. It's not whose name that's on it. It's the little people that are down there helping to get that going. Because usually, if you ever notice in a business, whoever owns the business isn't the person that's really keeping the business going. It's the people underneath. It's usually the last person on the list. It could be the janitor. It could be the carpet cleaner. It could be the person that's standing in that assembly line putting something together. You never see the person that's at the top, down at the bottom, keeping that business going so that that person at the top can be there. It's time for the city to step up. And it's time for the people who have once held a position in this city, hence Mayor Coyne having the guts to come here and tell you and sharing his view and his vision. It's time to work together. And if you're going to be waiting to pounce, the city doesn't need you. It's time for it to end. It's not whose group or whose name. Because if you're a resident of this city, as long as Brook Park's there and you live here, it's you. Thank you.
Susan Barber, 5819 Robert Drive. Good evening, obstructionists. I
Ms.
called you
Barber,
that.
Ms. Barber, please stop right there.
Why?
Because you're not gonna call people names that are sitting up on this dais. If you're gonna make a directive at them, please make a directive that is by their name or as council persons.
Okay, I will
Thank
do
you.
that. I apologize. Well, I called you that name last time, and I hope that you will pass that land deal. I feel that some of you might be too materialistic. And if you are materialistic, you don't belong in the city. Maybe you belong in Beechwood, Westlake, things like that. I thought that was a great speech by our former mayor. Sounds like he's running. I believe in karma, that he handpicked most of you, but karma came about that we got another mayor. So sounded like a political speech for me. And you know what? In my opinion, it's his fault what happened with the rec center, especially with the roof. And the senior members of this council didn't ask the questions. Why would you fix a roof and only do part of it and not all of it? The roof over the pool and things like that. And yes, the rec center is deteriorating. And I don't know who was in 1998 on the council. I got involved with this council meeting and coming to council when past Mayor Coyne was gonna eliminate the fire and go to private companies. And I thought that was wrong. I apologize. My husband's in the hospice and I'm seeing him die every day. So you can put that on Facebook, and that's another thing about Facebook. I'm irritated with people on social media calling people a-holes and hypocrites and everything. You guys, these residents, maybe followers of the former mayor or whatever, I know who you are. You are evil, you're shallow people, you have nothing better to do than to criticize people. And as I look and see my husband die, and I'm looking at all the blessings I've had in my life, it has been so great. And I love this city, I really do. I grew up here. I'm involved with the Brook Park Botanical Club. I'm very active, and I love the city, and I want to see it moving forward. And I'm happy that we have a mayor that won't insult me or crucify me and make me almost have a stroke like he did last year. So it's going to be over my dead body that if Mayor Coyne runs again, I will make sure he doesn't. I like Mike Gamella. He's got good ideas. And we need to move forward, and it's up to all of you to move the city forward, the city on the move. And if you don't do it, it's not going to happen. And another thing, that Port Plaza 1 that's on Snow Road, that building needs to be torn down. That is in Councilman Orcutt's in Ward 3, but that building is getting real shabby. I don't know who owns it. It should be demolished. Every time I walk by there with my dog, it's like, who's going to buy it? And I know Brook Gate needs to be fixed up and all this other stuff. So we're moving, but it's up to you to support our mayor. And if you're not going to do it, this town is going to turn into a ghetto. And that's another thing about properties. I have mentioned it before, at council meetings. We have too many Section 8 renters that don't care about their property. That's where my group comes in. Brook Park Help Thy Neighbor. Even though my husband's dying, I need this to sustain me for the rest of my life, if I'm able to. So, do your job, do your due diligence, like everyone says. Stay off of Facebook. Quit being evil and shallow. Don't go spying on people in the city. Turn the city around to be respectful, because if we get unruly people it's going to become a ghetto. And I heard that from a very wise man this week. So that's all I have to say. I don't know if I want to stay for your comments because I'm kind of a little upset right now, but I'll stay. I'm trying to be strong. It's very hard. And have a good day. Thanks a lot.
Seeing no one else coming forward. Mr. Troyer's coming forward.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. Tom Troyer, 18352 Calvin Drive. A couple of things I'm tempted to come up here and clarify a couple things. I actually came up here to support the Russell Barron family. Michael's a very good young man. Sorry. But I'm also tempted to clarify a few things what people talked about that I don't think were accurate, but I'm not going to do that any either because I'm not going to be that guy, as Joan just talked about. She made a few good points there. What I want to talk about tonight is home days and all the committees and organizations that are going to be up there. I'm asking the people out there to bring some extra cash because Beautification and Pride Committee, again, as usual, is going to be raffling off a lawnmower, and we're going to have daily 50-50 raffles. The Neighborhood Watch is going to have baskets that they're going to be raffling off. I believe also Audrey's, I don't know about everything, but Audrey's is also going to be doing baskets from what I gather. They're going to have a booth up there. And then, of course, the newest committee is the Botanical Garden Club, and they're going to be, I think they have a couple grills. They have a gas grill and a charcoal grill that they're going to be raffling off. So please bring some extra cash. Stop at Beautification and Pride first. And then, get your tickets for all these prizes you can win and come up and talk to us. I'll be there most of the time, in the evenings especially, and I'd like to see everybody. Thank you.
Seeing no one else, we will move forward. Letter M, introduction of ordinance and resolutions under first reading. We have one, ordinance number 11,029-2018.
Introduced by Mayor Gamella, authorizing the mayor to enter an agreement with Best Equipment Company Incorporated for the lease purchase of one new 2019 Mack chassis with a 32-yard leach rear loader body and declaring an emergency.
Motion to
Whereas, wait, I have to read it. Whereas the mayor has determined that the service department for the city is in need of one new 2019 Mack chassis with a 32-yard leach rear loader body to help maintain our city. And whereas the city of Brook Park is a member of the National Joint Powers Alliance, parentheses NJPA, end of parentheses, which is an organization that is now considered, or now known as Sourcewell, which is an organization that creates national cooperative contract purchasing solutions for its members' agencies and has competitively advertised as bidded. Whereas Best Equipment Company Incorporated is an Ohio truck equipment vendor that has been authorized by the NJPA to provide trucks and truck equipment to the NJPA members. I'm sorry, I have to back up. Let me repeat that. There was a few amendments made. Whereas Best Equipment Company Incorporated is an Ohio truck equipment vendor that has been authorized by the NJPA, now doing business as Sourcewell, to provide trucks and truck equipment to NJPA members. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the City of Brook Park, State of Ohio, that Section 1, pursuant to Section 7.04H of the Charter of the City of Brook Park, the mayor is authorized to enter an agreement with Best Equipment Company Incorporated for the lease purchase of one new 2019 Mack chassis with a 32-yard leach rear loader body. A proposal for said truck with chassis and equipment is attached hereto and incorporated herein as Exhibit A. Section 2, the money needed for the aforesaid transaction shall be paid from funds theretofore appropriated or to be appropriated for said lease purchase of one new Mack chassis with a 32-yard leach rear loader body. The total amount of the purchase of said is $227,615. And to be paid from Capital Fund 401 and Sanitation Equipment Fund 423. Section 3, it is found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the adoption of this ordinance were adopted in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council and any of its committees that resulted in formal action were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 4,
This ordinance is hereby declared to be an emergency measure immediately necessary for the preservation of the public peace, health, safety, and welfare of said city, and for the further reason to allow the city to lease purchase one new Mack chassis with a 32-yard leach rear loader body. Provided this ordinance receives the affirmative vote of at least 5 members elected to council, it shall take effect and be enforced immediately upon its passage and approval by the mayor, otherwise from and after the earliest period allowed by law.
Move to suspend.
Support.
Motion to suspend, properly supported. Discussion on the motion. Seeing none, Michelle, please call the roll on suspension.
Mancini,
Yes.
Perigio.
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Orcutt,
Yes.
Stem,
Yes.
Poindexter.
Yes.
Salvatore.
Suspension is approved.
Move to adopt.
Support.
Motion to adopt, properly supported. Discussion. Seeing none, Michelle, please call the roll on adoption.
Mancini,
Yes.
Perigio.
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Orcutt,
Yes.
Stem,
Yes.
Poindexter.
Yes.
Salvatore.
Ordinance number 11,029-2018 has been adopted. Moving on to letter N, second reading of ordinances and resolutions. We do not have any. Letter O, third reading of ordinances and resolutions. Ordinance number 11,028-2018, authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract for the sale of plus or minus 3.303 acres of land located at 16400, 16500 Brook Park Road, permanent parcel numbers 344-30-008 and 344-30-009, and declaring an emergency, introduced by Mayor Gamel and Councilman Mancini.
Motion to adopt.
Support.
Motion to adopt, properly supported. Discussion on the motion. Mr. Orcutt,
I just wanted to make a brief comment about,
on adoption, sir?
no, it wasn't. I was trying to raise my hand before that.
I didn't even see you, sir. Sorry about that.
I wanted to address the fact of the records request, but if we can't do that at this time, I
Yeah,
understand.
motion, discussion on the adoption, sir, on the motion. Sorry about that. Motion to adopt, properly supported. Discussion. Seeing none, Michelle, please call the roll on adoption.
Mancini,
Yes.
Poindexter,
Yes.
Salvatore,
No.
Stem,
Yes.
Orcutt,
No.
Perigio.
Yes.
Scott.
Yes.
Motion carried 5-2. 5 yes, 2 no.
Motion carries 5-2. Ordinance number 11,028-2018 has been adopted. Mr. Poindexter?
Motion to address the audience.
I'll support.
Motion to address the audience, properly supported. Discussion. Seeing none, Michelle, please call the roll.
Poindexter.
Yes.
Mancini.
Yes.
Stem,
Yes.
Salvatore. Yes. Scott,
Yes.
Perigio.
Yes.
Orcutt.
Yes.
Motion is approved. Mr. Mancini, you've got the floor.
Thank
Address
you.
the audience away,
I
sir.
want to go, and I'm going to make it brief. I know we all heard what was said up here today. You know, there's a couple people come up there today, and it's very easy to, and I'm going to be very brief, to give shots, okay? And, you know, I'm going in my 5th year, and I'm tell you, to be honest, I'll address them. Whether somebody sends me something somebody said on Facebook or somebody, I'll address them. But, you know, I wish, like I heard up there, a lot more people would get involved. And I don't mean sitting up here, because these guys and girls work hard. And the ones before us worked hard. It's not an easy job. You could do 8 things right, like I did on a Saturday, okay? I thought I did great. And I had a lot of things to do that Saturday 2 weeks ago. And then I get a terrible negative comment from somebody I think I worked the hardest for, because I couldn't get something done that was out of my control. These people work hard. And again, before us too, there's people who volunteer, who 2 of them came to the mic, 3 of them, 4 of them, they put their time in, 5 of them, dog park, they want to do things. That's what community's all about. It isn't giving shots back and forth. When somebody's got to come in, sure, there was a disagreement on this building here, but it was legit. People had feelings about it. It's a big thing. But we worked through it, and we're gonna work through it. It's a good council with a lot of good directors, and there was a lot of good ones before us. I worked at the service garage for 30-something years. My parents, they were involved with this stuff. And again, it takes a lot to get things done. We got a 4th of July, we got a great home day celebration. We got people coming up to the mic. I thought some of them were a little rough, little, maybe even a little out of line. Great people, but instead of coming to that mic, come out and help us with them plan. Come out and help us. We got to get streets done. We got a lot of things to do. The one thing the former mayor was right, we're in a situation where we're maintaining it. It won't be easy, and we need the public's help. I think that's been said for quite a while. And I'm going to let it go there, Mr. Vecchio, my council president. I know others want to speak on it, but some people just got to remember it's about working together. You're not always going to agree, but getting the job done. And this is the type of city we're not in that position anymore to, okay, we just pay for it out of that and we'll take care of it later, or she'll get it or he'll get it. It ain't like that no more. Everybody's got to come together. It's like somebody said up there very well, it's our city. It's all of our cities. Where do you want to go? Thank you, Mr. Director.
Thank you, Mr. Mancini. Mr. Poindexter?
Thank you, Council President. I just wanted to thank Mr. Barron for presenting me with this certificate of appreciation. It took me by surprise. I don't do what I do to get awards and appreciation. I do it because I care. When I heard the story about his son, my heart broke, and it breaks still for his family. But I want to thank him and his wife for coming here and presenting me with this certificate. And that's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Orcutt?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I guess I can address this to the audience, and what Joan had said, Mrs. Markusik had said. I was talking about that property, and it also ties into the records request that the mayor talked about in his report. That person he was talking about was me, and I did put in a request for information on that land. And I did that with Michelle, and she provided that information very promptly to me. So I want to thank you, Michelle, for that. And in that information, it did not have anything about putting an adult entertainment center in there. In fact, what was provided in there was an estimation of an assessment of what the property was worth, and that was $610,000. Also, it was. It had with it a letter of intent of sale for that land from August 2nd, 2017. In fact, that actually it was in that records request as well, were the minutes from August 22nd caucus meeting. And I based my decision on a lot of the information from there, and then also the information that was provided to me through the piece of the ordinance that we had in front of us. And also, I want to thank the mayor, too, for having an open door policy. You and I had spoke many times about this piece behind closed doors. And as I stated before, I wasn't going to negotiate that here. So I just wanted to take the time to let Ms. Markusik understand that I appreciate all the things that she had said, and I appreciate everybody's patience with this. I just used the facts that were provided to me on May 15th on my records request, and that's what I ended up doing to base my decision for that. And that's all I had. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Orcutt. Seeing no one else, I'll take a motion to go back to regular order of business.
Motion so made. Support.
Motion to go back to regular order of business, properly supported. Michelle, please call the roll.
Mancini,
Yes.
Stem,
Yes.
Poindexter,
Yes.
Salvatore,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Bergia,
Yes.
Orcutt,
Yes.
Motion's approved. Moving on to letter P.
Motion to adjourn.
Support.
Motion to adjourn, properly supported. Michelle, please call the roll.
Mancini,
Yes.
Bergia,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Orcutt,
Yes.
Stem,
Yes.
Poindexter,
Yes.
Salvatore.
Yes.
This meeting is adjourned at 8:44. Good night, everyone.